For you. On you who I'll bet my life. Won't toss my paradise. I'm kind, I ain't nice. Subtract falsehood advice. You who eventually seeing through y'all. That rule got me seeing through y'all. Ain't like I'm doing something to y'all. You who got me seeing through y'all. You who eventually seeing through y'all. That rule got me seeing through y'all. Ain't like I'm doing something to y'all. You who got me seeing through y'all. Yeah. Family business ain't no greed in me. Mr. Clark, my brother lean on me. I lean back, but it ain't no dance. Make appeals, but it ain't no Zans. Feeling okay, I'm oh so grand. Keep in mind, only got two hands. Never label in advance. Don't call a friend until you prove that man. A little time, all you need. If it's genuine, it shows. Vampires play a role. In the light, get exposed. Transparent up against that law. Brothers hide it like no one saw. Yahuwah eyes never miss your acts. One day you gotta pay that tax. Fairy tales, you can clean that mess. Toward keeping me at my best. If you hate a brother so, he will never stop the show. What's it like to some love? Especially from above. Mighty talk where you learn that at. Man, I'm perfect, never burn a batch. Yahuwah word, that's all for me. Everything else so bored. Life in me, what y'all store. This English sound foreign, yeah. Righteous point of view, pray they see it too, yeah. Make no excuse, stand on my life. Won't toss my paradise. I'm kind, I ain't nice. Subtract falsehood advice. You who eventually seeing through y'all. That rule got me seeing through y'all. Ain't like I'm doing something to y'all. You who got me seeing through y'all. You who eventually seeing through y'all. That rule got me seeing through y'all. Ain't like I'm doing something to y'all. You who got me seeing through y'all. Yeah.
Hey, shalom. It's Michael Israel. I got Ron Dalton on video and or on Zoom, and Zion Lexx is also on there. He doesn't have his voice. Oh, I'm sorry. He's voice only. He doesn't have the video up, but Zion Lexx is on here too. And if you haven't seen already, the Karaite Jews for Judaism did a video, and I know the other night Ron had called me and said he had had a discussion with one of them. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just let them explain the situation. So I'm gonna hand it over to Ron and Zion Lexx. Can y'all hear me? You gotta unmute your mic. Y'all can unmute you.
Yes, sir. Shalom.
All right, shalom, Zion Lexx. Shalom, Ron.
Shalom. So yeah, basically, all the scholarship that we're putting out in books and movies, and people are spreading the word. The Great Awakening, Hebrew Sneakers Mega Conference. You obviously see that the other people that are trolling and watching the videos, because you got Gentiles, you got Jews, you got people from Israel, Iran. They're watching, and you got all types of people coming out that want to debate. You even got black people that want to debate about, like for instance, they want to debate. Like they email me debating about, you teach that that black people are the Hebrew Israelites, but but the children of Israel is another term for that, and you guys got it all mixed up. And I'm like, well, how can you tell me that Jacob's 12 sons, how else can you describe what does that mean? I mean, if a man has 12 sons and his name is Israel, Jacob renamed Israel, then these are his bloodline children, and from that bloodline comes the children of Israel, the Israelites. And then you got people who want to debate, is Esau the whole white race on the planet Earth? And if we haven't figured that out, then something's really wrong. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. But then now you got not well, Rosenberg. We already finished Rosenberg, but now you got some Jewish people that are angry. You know, they're angry that like they call Rosenberg a fake rabbi. They say he's a Rosenstein. They know his last name. They know his name is Rosenberg, but they want to clown Rosenberg because they see how we handle Rosenberg, and now they want to step to the plate and get some kind of fame. And so you got this guy. He has a YouTube channel called Karaite Jews for Judaism, and him and this other guy, he's a Jew, he's Jewish, but he's Messianic. They did a video, and I posted it on my page, on my YouTube channel, and they're calling me out, talking about this Hebrew Theos moron. He's an idiot. He doesn't have scholarship. You guys are from the Horn of Africa. You guys are Cushites. All this other stuff. Like, you're gonna debate me. You're gonna debate me. You're gonna debate me. You're gonna be scared and run away like Pastor Dow. You know, it's just hilarious how you got people trolling. They trolling so hard. They really want to debate. And so when one of the guys called me, no, he emailed me. He said, "Is this Ronald Dalton?" I said, "Yes." He said, "You gonna debate us or what?" And I said, "Well, just call me. Let's talk about it." So he called me, and he was like, "Well, Pastor Dow's been running for 2 years. We've been trying to get him to debate us, and he's scared." I'm like, you know what? Hold on. I said, "So what do you want to debate about?" And he was like, "We want to debate about the children of Israel. Who are the real Israelites? We're the real Israelites, and you're Cushites." And I said, "Are you sure you want to do that?" He was like, "Yeah." And I started laughing. And so the guy, I said, well, he said, well, you can get any one of your partners to join. It's gonna be me and Karaite Jews for Judaism. I said, all right, well, I'm gonna pick somebody. And so I reached out to Zion first, and so Zion, we had talked to this guy on three-way later, and he wasn't ready for the scholarship that we have for him. And we just asked him simple, basic questions. And I'm gonna talk about it, but Zion's gonna talk about it to let you know these guys are not prepared for true Hebrews. They haven't run into people like us, and this is the reason why a lot of rabbis, a lot of Jews, they probably watch our channel, they probably hate it, and we say, we're willing to debate physically in person at a location. Like, if you want to debate in Detroit or New York City in a physical location, we can live stream it. We can have people come and sit in the audience and watch. We're willing to debate any rabbi, any Jewish person, anybody that has any scholarship that wants to try to prove that they're the Israelites, because we can prove that we're the real Israelites in all of this. So, Zion, you can start off and tell them what your impression was when we talked to that guy on the phone.
Hey, shalom, audience, spiritual combat. Thank you, Michael Israel, for allowing me to be on your show, and thank you once again, Ron Dalton, for allowing me to join in and chime in. My first impression was a bit negative because from the outset, you said to me that he said verbatim that what he sees us as are literally Cushites, which he also said he spoke the Hebrew language, so he sees us as Cushi. Now, being that I speak and teach Hebrew, I can tell you that in the land of Israel and among European Jews, when they speak Hebrew, the term Cushi is a derogative term, and it's how you say nigger in Hebrew. So that in ancient days, when we say a person is a Cushi, we're speaking of, yes, an Ethiopian. But in modern days usage, the term Cushi in the land of Israel is how they say nigger. If you were to type in the term Cushi as it is spelled in Hebrew on your Google search, what will come up are several places in Israel where you actually see European Jews in blackface. You'll actually see European Jews holding sign that says Cushi, and it'll show a man eating a watermelon. So I want us to firmly understand that when this guy says that we're a bunch of Ethiopians, it's a lot deeper than that, because the term Ethiopia in Hebrew is Cushi, and the way that European Jews use Cushi means that it's nigger. That's the nuance behind what he's saying. So there's hidden um, agendas and motives and hands, even in the verbiage that he's using, that I definitely want us to pay attention to. He's basically calling us a bunch of niggers. He is not so stupid as to think that we are the actual people called Ethiopian, or maybe he is, or maybe he is, and I'll tell you why. Maybe he may be that dumb. Ron Dalton asked me to join the conversation so that we could come together and vet whether or not he even is worthy of us having a dialogue, much less a debate. We have great Afrocentric teachers such as Dr. John Henry Clark, who said that I debate my equals, all else I teach. So we're not thirsty to jump into any dialogue. We want to vet your scholarship. We want to vet your methodology before we even come to a determination on whether or not a dialogue or debate is even necessary or significant, not just for us but for our community. Because contrary to popular opinion, we don't make a spectacle. We're out here trying to win souls and improve lives with this information and with this truth. So saying all that to say, Ron asked him a simple question. He said, can you trace your genealogy back to Moses and Aaron? He said, absolutely. So Ron said, okay, so do you know who your great grandfather is? He said, no, I'd have to check that out. So you could tell us your genealogy from Moses and Aaron, but you can't tell us who your great grandfather. You see the stupidity in this, people. You
Crazy.
can't make this kind of stuff up.
Yeah.
You know,
You know,
so
hey, but look. I said, let me test this guy because I said, are you Ashkenazi or Sephardic? He's like, we don't really go by that. I said, well, that doesn't really make any sense. But I said, okay. I said, whether you want to be a Karaite or not, and you don't follow the Talmud or the New Testament, that's fine. Like one of them follows the New Testament, one of them doesn't. But I said, at the end of the day, most Jews will tell you I'm Sephardi or Sephardim or Ashkenazi or Mizrahi, whatever. And this guy didn't even know. And I was like, well, I said, where's your grandparent come from? He's like, I think he came from France. And I said, all right, well, what about his dad? I'm sure you know. I mean, I know my grandmother and my great grandparents come from. This guy didn't even know, but the guy said, like Rosenberg and everybody else said, we can trace our lineage back to King Solomon, King David, and Aaron and Moses. And I said, wait a minute. I said, what's your name? He said Levi Cohn or Cohn. And I said, how you spell it? He spelled it. He said, well, I'm not gonna reveal my real name. I said, I don't care what name you use because you guys all use surnames. These are surnames that you use, and so I don't care if you call Ben Levy and Livingston or Levine or Benjamin or whatever. And so, I said, so you must be you must be claiming to be from the Cohenite the high priestly tribe, and he was high priestly clan. He was like, yes, and I said, man, I said, Zion Lex pointed it out. If you don't know who your great grandfather is, how can you point out your lineage going back to Moses and Aaron? Because the high priesthood has to be amongst the sons of Aaron. So if you can't trace that back 2,000 to 3,000 years, then you obviously are talking stupidity. It's just and then on top of that, I was like, well, you call us Cushites. I said, so we're black, we're Cushites. Then who are the Canaanites? He was like, I don't know. I said, what do you mean you don't know? You're a scholar. He's like, who are the Egyptians today? Who are the Puttites today? I mean, if we're one of the sons of Ham, then tell us where the other sons of Ham are at. He didn't know. And I said, well, tell me who the sons of Shem are. I said, and I named them off because he didn't even know. I said, Lud, Aram, Ashur, or Farxad, Elam. He didn't know. And so I was like, well, I said, I could break this down for you. I said, well, who are the sons of Japhet? Who was Gomer? Who was Magog? Who was Kittim? Who was Javan? He didn't know. And I said, you mean to tell me you're gonna come to a debate and you don't know any of this stuff? And I said, then I asked him, who are the Edomites? I said, because if you're saying that Jacob was a white man and the children of Israel all white, then if Esau was his twin brother, where are the Edomites today? And then he said, oh, they're all destroyed. They're all eliminated. I said, no. The Edomites are not all eliminated off the planet Earth. That's false. And so these are things that he didn't know who the Ishmaelites were. He didn't know the history about Judah's first wife being a Canaanitess. He didn't know about Edomites. Edom's first wives were Canaanites. Then he married a daughter of Ishmael. And then he also had Hadad the Edomite who married an Egyptian woman, had a son. Man, this guy didn't know anything. It's just
That's
sad,
right.
real sad.
That's right. On top of that, Brother Ron Dalton asked him another straight up question. He said, what color were the original Israelites of the Bible? And he said, there wasn't any one color. I mean, their complexion reflects what we see in the Mideast today, like a dark hue and a light hue. We were a mixed multitude. So I chimed in. I said, okay, I have a question for you. If you believe that the children of Israel originally were a mixed multitude, then would you have a problem with a black Messiah? Family, brace yourself for this man's answer. He said, of course I wouldn't have a problem with a black Messiah. I effed a couple black women in my day. Did y'all hear me?
Wow.
I asked him, Let me say it again. Because you say that you believe that the children of Israel were originally a people that were of color and different hues, then would you have a problem accepting a black Messiah? And he said, of course not. I've effed a couple black women in my day. And of course, y'all know Ron began, and I followed him. We roasted his you know what right after that, and let him know that we didn't appreciate that at all. And also, and it was a
We
shame
took out
that
my.
right. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong.
No, you're right. You're right. Hey, I wanted to like daddy mode. I got my belt off. I took my belt off and I started to whip with it. You know, these guys look. These guys are like, well, you know, the Hebrews that they may have been of color, but but you look at the climate and everything else and how things change, you know, they've got lighter. But I said, you mean to tell me? I said, so the Hebrews were black, like people in Nigeria or in Africa. You mean to tell me because they went to Europe that they all of a sudden turned white? I said, what happens if a Nigerian was to live in Finland for 1,000 years and have family, and all he did was intermarry with his own people? He would still be black. And I said, if you went to South Africa or Egypt or Mangalore or Bangalore in India where it's like 100 degrees, or Arabia, and stayed there for 10 generations and keep having kids with white people, you're still going to be white. It don't matter how hot it is, you're still going to be white. I said, your genetic eumelanin and melanin is determined genetically in the womb. So when you're born, your genetic composition for your skin color is already there. It doesn't happen because, oh, now the baby's out in the sun and it's Africa, so it's a lot of sun, so everybody's gonna be dark. No, that's not the case. That is not the case. And these are the kind of foolish tricks, the foolish things that they say that shows you they don't have any logic and critical thinking.
That's good.
No logic, no critical thinking whatsoever. Because I mean, we came in there as sharpshooters. Ron led, and I fed off his energy. Ron asked straight questions. He couldn't answer a single question, and I'm a very unbiased person when it comes to the scoreboard. I couldn't even give him a one on the scoreboard. I couldn't put anything for him on the scoreboard because he came with nothing. Every question Ron asked him, he could not answer. Not only could he not answer it, he couldn't even begin to formulate getting to the answer, which was a shame because he introduced himself as a scholar. He introduced himself as somebody that was highly knowledgeable in the Hebrew language. And then when he realized that he wasn't dealing with the average groups that he may be used to, or the average people that he may be used to, he then throws a monkey wrench out and he said to us, well, I bet you don't even know what are the key components of writing a Torah scroll. Uh, I bet you can't tell us. So I said, you know what? This happens to be my lane because I actually have training in that, right, Ron? Right?
Right,
So
right.
so then I turned the light on him and I put him in the hot seat and I said, I want you to name the components. And he said, well, if you can't erase the letters because that's against the rules. I said, no, the letters can't touch when you're writing a Torah scroll. Also, I said, more importantly, the scribe who's writing a Torah scroll, the most basic element or feature of writing a scroll would be to first assess the title of the person who is doing the writing. So I said, tell me, how do you say a scribe in Hebrew? And he said, easy, a sage. I said, a sage?
It's
I said,
ridiculous.
the word sage is not a Hebrew word at all, much less a Hebrew word for scribe. So I'm going to ask
Yeah.
you one more time. What's the Hebrew word for scribe? How do you say scribe? This is so
Safar.
basic. And he said,
Safar.
well, I don't know. So then I said, it's Sophia. He says,
Yeah.
oh, thank you. I didn't know. But it goes to show you that a lot of these people watch our videos and they're obviously going to disagree with things that they've never heard before. But because their racial pride is fueling their ignorance, when they dialogue with us, they assume the worst. About 15 seconds, I want to say, into this dialogue, he already knew he wasn't ready for this conversation.
No, he didn't know Hebrew. We were like, you don't even know Hebrew, and I'm like, what are you talking about? I think we know more Hebrew than you do. And then he gonna say, I said, you know what, sir? I said, you are as white as could be, but you want to tell me that the original Israelites, that they're indigenous to the land of that area. I said, but however, I said this is a known fact that people that are born in Israel have a higher risk for developing skin cancer than those that came to Israel in 1948.
That's
Why?
right.
Because those people are not, they're not the indigenous people of the land, because they are getting skin cancer. And I told him, he's like, where is that at? I said, it's in Haaretz, the magazine, the Israeli magazine. I said, look, I said there was a point in time when you guys, when Israel was like the second or third, they had the second or third highest skin cancer rates in the world. He didn't believe us, and then so Zion was like, I'm gonna send it to you. And he sent it to you. He's like, oh, I didn't know that. And then I think Zion sent him some more stuff. He's like, where's that at? You gotta prove it to me. And we sent him everything. He's like, we're not making this stuff up. And we had the stuff to
Then
back
he
it
then
up.
he said, I guess this is something I overlooked, but what are you saying though? Well, what we're saying is your skin complexion don't match the land, bro. That's what we're saying. We saying the land is against you being there. This is deeper than me telling you you don't belong there. The land is telling you you don't belong there.
So, uh,
Yeah,
and
what,
that brings us to one of the points. Don't entertain clowns. Let clowns entertain you.
That's right. That's right. As our parents would
you know,
say, when you entertain a clown, you become part of the circus.
Mike, I always told people, like I told Rosenberg, I said, were the Egyptians black or white? Answer the question, yes or no. Or you just give them a true or false. So that way they can't deviate. True or false, answer the question, were the Egyptians black? Were the Cushites black? Were the Canaanites black? And if they say yes, they can say, well, how can the Israelites be pure white if over 1,000 years they were mixing with the Cushites, the Egyptians, the Canaanites, and these are the sons of Ham and Ham, and there's you guys. I said you guys have no genetic proof that you have any Hamitic blood in your DNA, none whatsoever. I said, how can you guys claim to be the real Israelites? You have no evidence of mixing with Shemitic or Hamitic people. I
That's
said, I
right.
said you guys are Japhet. That's your
That's
ancestors,
right.
Japhet.
That's right.
He didn't like that. He didn't like that at all.
I noticed that what they have attached to their latest video, what they're doing in response to you, when you open up the video itself and you look at their attachments, where they have all their hashtags, they have a video there where they say real proof that the Egyptians are white people. Now, let me just put
Oh
this
yeah,
out
yeah,
there
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
be
yeah.
very clear. You don't get more pseudo in an academic setting today than by saying Egyptians are white. It is a known fact in even European academia today that Egyptians are a non white people. You have much fewer European scholars today who are harping on the false idea that Egyptians were white. Most European scholars have finally concluded and have agreed and acknowledged that the ancient Egyptians are and were a people of color. It's something that you just simply cannot deny. The genetic evidence says it. The social economic um, triangle that is set up in the actual ancient texts of ancient Kemet. The people of Kemet, um, they had black ink, they had white ink. When they wished to draw themselves, I'm pretty sure they didn't confuse white with black. They chose to draw themselves with reddish, brown, and black ink. They never drew themselves white. Never. And mind you, they had an abundance of white ink because they drew their garments white.
Hmm.
And our Torah tells us that when Joseph stayed in Egypt, his own brothers didn't recognize him. Now, if Joseph looked like Charleston Heston, if Joseph looked like Donald Trump, he would stand out like a sore thumb. And even if you didn't know it was Joseph, you would know that he didn't belong there.
Hmm. You could even look. The Egyptians mummified their dead, so you can still see the old remains of their skin on their bones. I mean, they're not
That's right.
skeletons; they're mummified. So you can
That's
do a
right.
melanin dosage. You can do a melanin dosage check, like
That's right.
cheek onto You can go into the eumelanin, the melanin. You go to the epidermis and the dermis layer of the skin, and you can do an analysis and determine the percentage of melanin in the skin and tell that these
In the
people were
skin.
people of color. We all know
That's
that when
right.
black people die, look, when black people die, they're darker in the casket. When white people die, they stay white and they get pale. So
Yes.
over thousands of years, the mummies still look black. It's amazing how many mummies we have, and they all. It's in my movie. It's in my movie how many mummies you have, and they all look black. They all look black, and I break this down in terms of the craniometry, the angles of the face, the maxilla, the mandible, the hair texture, the Cushitic Egyptian language that you can see in Somalia and the Bayesian, the Afar, and other tribes. I mean, there's books on this stuff. These guys are unlearned, unready, and it's just a sad case that you got weak scholarship trying to debate us. I told them, I said, look, you guys got to get your best scholars, your best rabbis, and let's meet up and debate on an open forum in front of everybody, and we'll televise it. But they're scared. Nobody wants to do it. And they
Nobody
say,
wants.
well, we don't want to meet up in New York. We don't want to meet in Michigan. We don't want to. They said we'll come to you. We'll come to your state, and we'll rent a venue, and we'll live stream a live debate in front of everybody with you, Karaite, any rabbis, Rosenberg, any rabbis you want to team up, line up. We'll come. But they don't want
Spiritual
to do it because
combat,
they know
baby. We'll
the
be out
truth
there.
is damaging once it gets out, especially when it's televised.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
Y'all see,
That's all it is.
y'all
It's
see
all,
we did the Dirty Harry.
Yeah, he still says the word cult. He still says that we can't prove anything. If you look at the writings of the sages, Rambam and Maimonides and all the sages that try to predate, they date their writings back to like before the Spanish Inquisition. They said, well, they never mentioned skin color, the Hebrews being black. They don't
That's
mention any skin color.
that's
They
BS
said
because I'm familiar with the Rambam's work, and the
yeah.
Rambam lives in Moorish Spain, where you have Israelites that are being called Morano, and you have Muslims that are being called Moors, both meaning the same thing, blacks. And the Rambam comes out of Moorish Spain, and there's many people that speak of the Rambam as being a man of color too. They want to claim him because they love his works. But Rambam, in his Guide to the Perplexed, he has a section in there where he is certainly describing the children of Israel's color, and he said it's the color of boxwood. Boxwood is the color of like when you go to shellac a hardwood floor with that dark brown. And the Ramban is saying that's the color of the children of Israel. You can't get behind that. So we could actually use their own scholars to murder them.
Yeah, even Benea. I mean, Benea has done a phenomenal job on the Spanish and the Portuguese Inquisition because a lot of times Robert Rosenberg he likes to say, well, you never addressed Iberia, you never addressed the Jews of Iberia. I'm like Benea has like fully dived into Iberia. He went in there with a scuba tank and went in there and got everything. He went into Mariana's Trench and came out with all the research. So that they don't have nothing against us. So these guys are hilarious, and they're gonna keep making videos saying this and saying that. And I'll post the video on my channel so you can see what this guy's saying. It's just hilarious. They just want notoriety and fame, and they want to come up. That's all they want.
All right. So I'm looking in the comments. Something's going on here. Yeah.
Commenting. They troll my page all the time.
Well, brother made a good point. They say you have to debate people who are actually knowledgeable. And I agree, these dudes are clearly clown shoes. I wouldn't even call them clowns. They're the clown's shoes. Okay? And yeah, I would, to me, because Ron, me and you've been going real hard. I feel like this is a distraction, really. I wouldn't even entertain it, And I'll be honest, coming off of the Great Awakening Hebrew Gathering Mega Conference and all the truth that came out there's a lot of people, me and you've seen it, Ron, just kind of taking shots and jealousy and people wanting to, I don't know, get some of the light or whatever that or the attention that's bought, because just that conference and then your movie, you couple your conference with the movie, it just shook everything up and really brought a lot of mainstream attention to you. So
Well, Mike, when people always want to debate about Esau is the whole entire white race on the planet Earth. I say to them, I said, look, man, I said, Yavonic is Greek and Hebrew mixed. The Romanite Jews, they part of their name is Romanite because the Romans were really ruling over the provinces of Judea. And the Greeks were too, like Galilee and Judea, and then the other one, you got Samaria. But anyway, I said, well, if if the Edomites are all the white people on planet Earth, we know that Alexander the Great was a white man. We know about Aristotle and Socrates and Plato and all these Greek philosophers. If we know and agree that they're all white, Greeks, Yavan. I said, then who is the sons of Yavan? If the sons of Japheth, like Yavan, is not white, because according to them, all the white people on the planet Earth are Edomites, then where are the Greeks and Romans today? They like all the time they say, I guess they're the Pacific Islanders. I said, what? I said Pacific. So now you're saying the Romans and the Greeks are black people? They're black people in Papua New Guinea and all these different places in Australia. Now you're saying that these guys are the Greeks and the Romans that ruled over Judea. And it's like it's hilarious, and it's we don't use no critical thinking and logic nowadays. It doesn't make any sense. And like Pastor Howard says, if you haven't figured out that Esau is not the whole white race on the planet Earth, then something's wrong with you.
I want to say something really quick, and this may bother some people, but I'm a person that I've never been afraid to speak the controversial truth. Um, it's kind of asinine for us to call for critical thinking out of a group of people who have no record in history of demonstrating such. And what I mean by is this: as much as the Torah may disagree with the spiritual content of various African kingdoms, one thing that cannot be denied is that these African kingdoms have their own unique imprint, their own unique genetic hand on their own unique genetic, spiritual system. In other words, Africans have their own spiritual system. The children of Israel have their own spiritual system. European spiritual system came as a result of African spirituality. So they do not have their own spiritual system. And as we know, every single European, quote unquote, father of science, father of medicine, father of language, all of them were directly inspired by African thinkers. So it's almost asinine for us to call for critical thinking from a people who historically have a lack of a connection to those areas of thought. And a lot of people may have mixed views about me saying this because it sounds extremely controversial. But again, I'm not a person that pussyfoots around the truth. I'm direct. I'm very, very straight. I'm a straight shooter. And the reality is that Japheth has no spiritual system of his own. Every other son of Noah developed a spiritual system based in some part on those truths that Noah gave to his children. Japheth, on the other hand, never did so. And if we recall, what was the Torah's blessing to Japheth? What made Japheth great according to the Torah? It said that he shall dwell in the tents of Shem. Now, what I know just based on that language, Joshua sat near the tent of Moses. Joshua was later able to lead the people. So the only thing that has made these group of people great is them sitting and watching what we do and then capitalizing on our own problems that we have with one another, our infighting, the petty wars that we fight with one another. While we're fighting, they're capitalizing on that by learning from our mistakes and building the empires that they've been building. But they did it from sitting and watching us, or as the Torah says, dwelling in the tents of Shem.
Yeah, I just want to add to that too. Like it says that God shall enlarge Japheth. Now, in my books, in my movies, and even the next one, Hebrew Sneakers 3, people are going to see how large the territory that Japheth has covered. And I know Africa has a lot of people in it, but so does China, so does Siberia, so does Mongolia, so does Russia, so does Central Asia, so does Eastern Europe, so does Western Europe. Just to think about that, even Korea and Japan. Now I'm gonna break it all down for you in the next movie, and the next books, because you guys are going to see from firsthand account from these people that live in these countries that they're telling you and admitting to you what lineage they come from in terms of the lineage of Japhet. But this other thing I want to point out. We have so many envious and hateful people today. You got, and this is my thing. Like Damon Dad said the same thing before. He said grown men should not gossip about grown men. He said what grown men do is what grown men do. If somebody over here wants to have an award ceremony and they want to give awards to whoever they want to give awards to that we don't know, maybe we do know. Um, my thing is let them give their awards. I don't care if Hebrews of different places, organizations have an award ceremony and they give whoever they want an award. I'm not gonna say why did he get an award? Why did he get an award? Why did he get an award? These guys, these Jewish guys, this to show how the envy and hate is real. They say, well, you guys gave Pastor Dalton an award. Why did he get an award? Why did he get Hebrew Man of the Year award? I said, wait a minute. I said, you're a Caucasian son of Japhet, and this is a Hebrew Israelite award ceremony. The majority of people in there was black. Black people were handing out the awards to another black man, an Israelite man. But you guys want to, it's amazing to me. Like if the Jews had an award ceremony, or the Arabs did, or the Asians did, or East Indians did, would we care what Jews got an award, what Indian got an award, what Asian got an award, what Arab got an award? No, we would not care. We would not care at all. But these guys actually care, and they're not even black, that Pastor Dog got an award. I'm like, this is the most ridiculous thing in the world. I said, you a grown man with kids in the family. I'm a grown man. Why do you care so much about somebody getting a freaking award? It just baffles me. It just doesn't make any sense. Like high school.
No one wants to see the sleeping lion awaken, my brother, and that's the problem.
That's fact.
That's the very problem. Nobody wants to see that lion that's been asleep for centuries, decades, years, eons. Nobody wants to see that lion. The day that lion of Judah stands up, all nations got to sit all the way down, and they understand that firmly. We influence the world. We go throughout the globe, and we influence the world with sports and entertainment. They know that we have that same capacity to influence the world with our intellect and with our spirituality. They know the kind of reach we have. They know the kind of touch we have. And the last thing they want is to show the world that we can be just as great with our spirituality and with our intellect. Therefore, subliminally, they're fighting hard against that. Overtly, they're fighting hard against that. Subconsciously, they're fighting hard against that. He doesn't even realize that his own insecurities, he doesn't realize that his own shortcomings, his own failures as a man, as a group, as a people are fueling his hate for us. Dr. Francis Wilson, yeah.
No, the thing is, they would have been, they're watching us. They even admitted, we watched the Great Awakening Conference. We watched the Great Awakening Conference. We seen what was said, and we seen Pastor Dow. And I said, wow, so you guys are paying attention to what we're doing. So even though we had Benay, Zion, Divine, Only Love, Pastor Dow, myself, Michael Israel, different people there. Imagine if we would have had we would have had GOCC, IUIC, the Art Coalition, Hebrew Nation Building, the Watchmen Reports. But imagine if we had G-Dash, Big Judah, Seed of Israel, Truth Unveiled, all these Israelite YouTube channels all in one place. People would have probably lost their mind. They're like, this is a miracle. I said, how are they able to get all these people that believe that we are the Israelites and that the law is not done away with, and the reason why we're going through hell and these curses because we are the real children of Israel. That's the primary thing that everybody believes in. They believe that we are the Israelites and that the law is not done away with, and because of our disobedience to the law, the commandments and statutes that our forefathers did, and we're still doing to this day, that they are helping us do with the media and music and industry and everything else, that if we all can come together in unity as one, because that's what the Father wants us to come, to be as one as Israel, as Israelites. But the Great Awakening has really stirred up a lot of anger and envy in people watching all over the place. Even Christians want to debate. Oh, we want to debate you. I want to debate. I'm like, this is ridiculous. Before all this time, they weren't really trying to debate, but now they see it. Movies are dropping, conferences are happening, books are coming out. We're going here, we're going there. Benay and Brian here, every there. They don't like it. They don't like it. This is going to show you that the nations are watching what we're doing. They don't like unification. They do not like unity. And there's Israelites out here that's preaching non-unity and separation. There's Israelites out here that teaching that we don't really need to be self-sufficient. and we don't need community. You can assemble, and you can have an assembly in a community. I mean, what was Black Wall Street? I mean, there's a lot of evidences where you have all black people surrounding, and they were living. They were using the barter system. They had their own bank. They had their own police force. They had everything. You know, whether it's on land, whether it's in the city or town, whatever you want to call it. But it was all black people doing this because when you had to do everything on our own, and didn't want us working in the factory. They don't want us to get the job. So they had Jim Crow and Black Code laws. So it forced us to be independent and self-sufficient. And we had land. Black people did have land, and they have people living on the land. And so these kind of things is dangerous because the Most High is trying to unify us as one, and get us ready for what's going to happen. But you know, you have people, black people, and then you see the Jews and other people that are envious, and they're throwing shade, they're throwing fire, they're throwing hate and envy. And the clear example we just told you. I mean, if you guys would have heard the conversation, you guys would have been like, "Wow."
Yeah,
I think what's equally significant, just to give a quick 30-second, and I'm gonna come out. What's equally significant about the impact of Black Wall Street is that, aside from the idea that it is just so phenomenal to look back at history in that particular period, to see that there were so many successful black people thriving, what many of us miss is even the greatest picture within that picture. This took place during the Great Depression. 90% of white America failed to find a means to support themselves and their family. Black people made it happen like we always do. Black Wall Street is contemporary with the Great Depression. That's the greatness inherent within Black Wall Street, that we made it work even despite obstacles that faced those who were trying to put us down. They were falling and we still rose.
And the thing is, the difference between this awakening and Black Wall Street is this is according to, you know, according to the book, you know. And the thing is, like I said, Ron and Zion Lexx, it's just like me and Ron, the agreement me and him made. We just gonna stay the course. We're gonna stay focused. We ain't veering left. We ain't veering right. We're gonna keep steaming straight, full speed ahead, and we're beginning to see the results of that.
You know, Mike. You know, people say, well, a lot of people say this is the spirit of fear. This is that Woody Lynch crabs in the barrel mentality. People say, well, they'll say, oh, well, you know, we try to get community. Look what happened to the Black Wall Street. They bombed it. You know, they bombed it. They burned it down. So we got to be careful. The government, the FBI, the CIA, and all these other people, because as soon as we come together, they're gonna destroy us. So why even attempt to do it? Then they'll say, well, you know, I want to come to the conference. Is it safe? Is it safe? Is somebody gonna come into the movie theater and blow it up? They're gonna come in there and shoot it up. What about the conference? I mean, we got all these black people in one place. These Hebrew Israelites teaching the truth. Is it safe? Is it safe? Should we come? I don't want to be caught in crossfire. You know what? You know, even though Pastor Dow had a security there, we have to stop having the spirit of fear. I mean, we're gonna sit back and just like the house Negro and the field Negro. Well, I want to run away, but masters feed me really good, and I got a roof over my head, and I don't want these dogs to come get me and chew me down, and I don't want to get shot and hanged because I'm trying to leave with you guys. I'm gonna stay here. You know, this is the same spirit of fear that people still have to this day. Well, we don't want to do Black Wall Street. We don't want to have community. We don't want to do this because see what happened to this person and that person in Black Wall Street. This, blah, blah, blah. And black people are falling into it. But when the hammer drops, and ain't no electricity, ain't no power, ain't no communication, ain't no gasoline, ain't no food, EBT ain't working, the Medicare, Medicaid ain't working, your Social Security's not coming in, your SSI's not coming in. What you gonna do? You gonna call your church and say, hey, can we come stay with you? Can we get some food? Stay in the church. The church phone lines ain't gonna be working. They ain't gonna be in the church. The pastor's gonna be somewhere else. He gonna be up north, down south. He gonna be on his own land, while the assembly's gonna be wondering what happened to pastor. What happened to my assembly?
He in that bunker you built for him, giving him all them tithes and offerings.
Exactly. He taking care of his family. He ain't worried about y'all. He teaching y'all not to prepare, not to do community, not to come together. Just stay in the city where it's gonna be all hell and chaos. I mean, I did a video, my last YouTube video showed what happens when people's EBT cards stop working. People start flipping out. Black people start flipping out. They start getting angry. So imagine what happens if you ain't ate for 7 days, for 2 weeks, and your survival instincts kick in. and you living right next door to your neighbor, and he got all this food and he got everything else, and you know that he gonna have to leave the house at some point, or there's a woman in there. What are we gonna do? We gonna go take from the other person, man. I'm telling you, people. When the Bible says flee, when the Bible says flee, it means to flee. When the Israelites left Egypt, y'all didn't leave them, tell them to leave empty-handed. They left with livestock. They left with unleavened bread. Yes, they had gold and silver, but can they eat gold and silver? No. Did they have a pawn shop to pawn the gold? No, they did not. Was there somebody in the wilderness waiting, say, hey, you got gold? I can exchange it for bread and water and food? No, because they had to get water off a rock. But they have manna, they had quail, they had livestock, they had bread. So Yah told them to leave, but he left them, he told them to leave, but they didn't leave unprepared into the wilderness to die. The same thing Jeremiah taught, the same thing Christ taught in Matthew, and the same thing that teaches you in Revelation. So people have to wake up, man. I'm telling you, Mike, it's real out here. And like you said, we got to stay the course, stay focused, do not have fear, because Yah didn't give us a spirit of fear. He did not.
By and large, I'll say this. By and large, for those of you who might not have seen the main idea, the main purpose of Ron's Great Awakening Hebrew Gathering, the core of that thing was, one of the days, I think it was on the Friday, Ron did a lesson showing technologies and things going on that are right on the horizon, getting ready to hit.
Yep.
And it got a lot of people, it unnerved them. A lot of people, they were worried. They were a little scared. But then the very next day, Pastor Dow came on and gave the answer, according to thus saith the Lord, gave answers, gave solutions. And on a large scale, all praises, it reached a lot of people. A lot of people were truly awakened and blessed and made aware of it. But it's just amazing to see the people who were more worried about why does his security guards look like masculine men? You know, they were focused on everything but the warning. And like I said, you know,
exactly. They were. Yeah, it's like we have security. Then they like, well, why we got to have all the security? But then they say, why are we going to have security? Right. And you know, and then when you have security, of course, we all know that when you have a bouncer or security, they got to be real looking men. They can't be effeminate looking men.
Well, and the thing is, my point is, I saw more people worried about security and awards being handed out and this and he talks mean. He's a mean man and crying about everything, and they miss the forest for the trees. And like I said, I don't know what to tell them.
Yeah, they missed the message with the Aadhaar system, the Huduma number, the social credit system, biometric system in Europe, what's coming to America, what's in Africa, the Huduma number in Kenya. They don't understand these things. They don't understand what the mark of the beast is, or the animal, the signature of the animal in Aramaic. They don't understand none of this stuff. They looking like we're gonna keep using our debit credit card forever. No, they got a plan for that. They got a plan for that. They gonna move you right into the mark of the beast system. And you can be like, oh, well, you know, so this is real stuff.
And the thing is, the Bible says the Most High has not given us a spirit of fear, but Christianity does give you a spirit of fear. So come up out of that. Come into the Hebraic culture, not the Hebrew Christian culture. Come into the Hebraic culture. Get a King David spirit, and come out of that spirit of fear.
We as Hebrews, we as Israelites have a history throughout the literature in the Bible of not liking the messenger. The reality is Israel don't like the message, and the messenger becomes a scapegoat for avoiding dealing with God's message. That's the problem.
That's good.
Mike, remember when Christ was they were about to get Christ? It was the time almost for him to be on trial, and somebody came up with Christ, and then the guy sliced the guy's ear off. That shows you that the Hebrews were armed. The guy had a sword. He had either a sword or a dagger. He was able to slice the man's ear off. If the disciples of Christ were not armed, then how did this guy? I mean, he sliced his ear off with a tree stick. He had a sword. You know, the Bible talks about defense. The Israelites defended themselves. They didn't go to hand. They didn't do martial arts and mixed martial arts to defeat the nations they fought against. They had swords.
No, only cupcakes and hugs, man. No swords, man. Cupcakes and
Yeah, like we ain't
hugs.
supposed to defend ourselves. This is ridiculous.
But anyway, yeah, y'all, it was good having y'all on. At best, these clowns over here are a distraction. It looked like his video got 200 views. And you know, I don't know, they might be looking for a come up or whatever, but like I said, I think me and you talked about this a while ago, Ron. We're pretty much, we're getting it now, or you're getting it a lot now, is people are running after you trying to debate you now. You're not having to go to people for debates. That's a key sign that you've arrived. You know what I'm saying? That you're on the main screen now. You know what I'm saying? And
look. They probably trying to throw me off task, but they ain't, because they're gonna see in a minute. They're gonna see Hebrew by Nature dropping. They're gonna see Curses of Israel dropping. They're gonna see Hebrew Sneakers 3, the sound alarm dropping. They're gonna be pissed off. Like, how's he able to keep doing all this stuff?
They're gonna see that. They're gonna see your 8th child dropping. Everything gonna be dropping.
Yeah. Movies, books, conferences, unification, podcasts. They're like, how's he able to do all this stuff? We stay in focus. That's what we're doing. Stay in focus.
And I'm telling you, as a working with Ron, he is the ultimate project manager. That is one of his spiritual gifts, or one of the gifts the Most High gave him, is to keep things on task. And also I want to thank y'all for y'all support. I see y'all putting money in Ron's super chat. We appreciate that. Every bit counts, because I could tell you this: the money that was donated during the conference by Pastor Dow and a lot of other people, we're using that. We use that money to get me to Texas so I can interview more people for the next documentary coming up, and it goes right to kingdom work. We ain't out here buying rims and gold chains and nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? So we appreciate everybody's support. I appreciate all y'all who support Spiritual Combat, and like I said, we're gonna definitely deliver on it. And like I said, if you don't believe it, we got movie 2. We're going hard on movie 3, and like I said, and you're beginning to see the fruits of all that.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, with that, go ahead, Ron. Go ahead.
They'll see us soon in Chicago, August the 17th. I'll be in Chicago at, I think, at Tinley Park Convention Center. Starts early in the morning. I'm gonna be teaching there, and then also in New Jersey, Newark, New Jersey, August the 22nd. I'll be there at the Cityplex. I think Cityplex 12 Theater. I think Shaq used to own it, or he still owns it. Showing the movie Hebrew Sneakers 2, Revelation, Age of Awakening to the people out there. Very limited seating, and then but on August the 24th and the 25th. Me and Benea, Hidden Hebrews, will be at the Beth El House of Yahweh with Pastor Jonathan Mickens. We're going to be conducting the conference and also showing the movie on Saturday. Start time is 8 o'clock on Saturday for the movie. And then on Sunday, we're going to be teaching, edifying the people all day on Sunday. So if you want to, we got Eventbrite links. I'll put it in the video once I upload
and like I said, also, if you're watching and you're on Facebook, hit the like button on Ron's it's the Ronald Dalton business page or fan page. It's on there. We post regular updates on there. You already told him about Carolina?
Oh yeah. We're coming to North Carolina, High Point, Greensboro, Raleigh, Winston-Salem area. I keep forgetting Winston-Salem, but that area over there, that's gonna be September 6th, 7th, and 8th. me and Benea, and we got a couple assemblies that's sponsoring it. If you need to get tickets and you just don't know how to get it, just email me at HebrewsToNegroes@yahoo.com. Hebrews Negroes NEGROES@yahoo.com, and I'll give you the Eventbrite links so you can register. That event is a free event, and we already got about almost 300 people signed up for that event. It's going to be a lot of people there, and then we're looking at maybe one coming up in Florida this year, and then the Hebrew cruise to the Bahamas, Shabbat service in the Bahamas, December 6th, 7th, and 8th, I think the 9th as well. And then in 2020, we're looking at possibly going to Cincinnati, Atlanta. We're looking into Texas and also California. We're still getting some early feedback from people that want us to come to California and Texas. So we're going to be hitting the states. You know, myself, Benea, the Great Awakening, we're coming full force. We're bringing unity and love. That's what it's all about, unity and love and edification of the people, because the message that we're bringing is what all Israelites need to understand. You know, get out of her, my people. Come out of her, my people. And that's all we're trying to do.
That's good. That's good. And that's not in some, imaginary spiritual way. It's a literal, practical way also. But anyway, with that said, I appreciate y'all tuning in. I'm Michael Israel. This is Spiritual Combat. If you want to stay tied in, subscribe to Ron's channel, to my channel. If you're on Facebook, like I said, Ron's channel is up and going over there. And so definitely subscribe to it. Anyway, with that said, I got to get ready to go to work. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Take it out with my favorite song right now, Transparent. Shalom, y'all.
Burn them up, miss. That coach. For you. On you who I'll bet my life. Won't toss my paradise. I'm kind, I ain't nice. Subtract falsehood advice. You who eventually seeing through, y'all. That rule got me seeing through, y'all. Ain't like I'm doing something to y'all. You who got me seeing through, y'all. You who eventually seeing through, y'all. That rule got me seeing through, y'all. Ain't like I'm doing something to y'all. You who got me seeing through, y'all. Yeah. Family business ain't no greed in me. Mr. Clark, my brother, lean on me. I lean back, but it ain't no dance. Make appeals, but it ain't no Zans. Feeling okay, I'm oh so grand. Keep in mind, only got two hands. Never label in advance. Don't call a friend until you prove that man. A little time, all you need. If it's genuine, it shows. Vampires play a role. In the light, get exposed. Transparent up against that law. Brothers hide it like no one saw. Yahuwah eyes never miss your acts. One day you gotta pay that tax. Fairy tales, you can clean that mess. Toward keeping me at my best. If you hate a brother so, he will never stop the show. What's it like to some love? Especially from above. Mighty talk where you learn that at. Man of perfect, never burn a batch. Who a word, that's all for me. Everything else so bored. Life in me, what y'all store. This English sound foreign, yeah. Righteous point of view, pray they see it too, yeah. Make no excuse, stand on me too.